I'm Nick Westergaard, and this is On Brand, helping you tell your story. Few platforms have changed culture as quickly or as globally as TikTok. Khartoon Weiss, VP and GM of North America and Global Business Solutions, is at the center of it, helping brands, businesses connect with audiences in ways that are creative, authentic, and impactful. From scaling Spotify to leading top agencies, she's built a career on turning bold ideas into cultural movements. And now she's shaping the future of TikTok. My interview with Khartoon is coming right up. But first...
Are you tired of juggling multiple software tools to manage your agency? Say hello to Deltek Workbook, the ultimate solution for marketing and communication agencies. With Workbook, you can streamline your projects, resources, and finances all in one place. Imagine real-time dashboards and reports giving you full visibility into your projects, people, and financials. Plan your team's capacity weeks in advance to avoid bottlenecks while staying on budget to maximize project margins. Plus, Workbook works perfectly for both agencies and in-house marketing teams looking to boost efficiency and profitability. And here's the best part. At PCI, we're a certified Deltek partner and reseller offering expert implementation, integrations, and ongoing support to ensure your success. Want to see how Deltek Workbook can transform your operations? For a free consultation, visit pci.us/podcast today. That's pci.us/podcast.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Visit progressive.com to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary, not available in all states or situations.
Khartoon Weiss, welcome to On Brand.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
So, as I talked about in the intro, few platforms have scaled into culture as quickly as TikTok. From your seat, what makes TikTok such a different kind of brand builder compared to other media platforms?
Well, thank you first of all for the kind words. We have been building for only a few years, but it feels like an eternity. And we're really proud of the work that we've been doing here. TikTok is a world unlike any other that I've personally ever seen before, or probably most people have ever experienced in the world of brand marketing. Culture is made here, culture starts here, and it moves incredibly fast. So I think what makes us different is that we can have business impact and be a growth engine at a faster scale than anybody's seen before. And it comes from a really authentic place of a community and a place where brands can sit and be part of rituals, everyday behaviors, and truly drive that kind of local level resonance that makes marketing so great and TikTok such an authentic platform to do it on. So it's never been a better time to be part of this, and we're just thrilled to be here for this ride.
So as I think about brand and TikTok, it makes me think that your role is especially unique because you've got your role in both stewarding TikTok's own global brand and helping brands build theirs on the platform. Do you ever find these dual roles intersecting?
Every day. I think one of the things that we get to do here that we're really proud of is that no matter what your brand is looking to accomplish, whether it's to have an organic presence or to drive a paid product and service of your own business, there is a solution here and we are a place for you. This has never been a more opportunistic time to be on the platform. So we are consultants. We are consultants for how brands can and should show up amongst their community and the net new community TikTok brings them. As much as we are sitting there trying to be consultants for how can we help accelerate your business, everybody's already transformed it. The pandemic did that for us. It forced us all into that. TikTok is the accelerant of the business. And so they have to intermingle and become codependent every single day because that's the expectation of the user post the pandemic. And it's been the constant behavior that we see on the platform for over a movie's length of time daily in the US and for at least 170 million people when I wake up. And it has been a strong impact for our businesses and brands. So we're here for any kind of pivotal need state that they're ready and hopefully looking for.
So, we talk a lot about storytelling here on the podcast. And one thing that's really different is traditional brand storytelling, we assume takes a lot of time and space. How do you advise brands to tell stories in 6, 15, or even 30 seconds?
You know, it is not necessarily about the ads anymore. We tell brands that they have an incredible array of assets. And they always have, right? Brand building and brand equity has always been about packaging your message, your colors, your mnemonic devices, and putting it into a perfect ecosystem. But the TikTok community doesn't necessarily need those kinds of frameworks of 6-second, 15-second, 30-second. They've broken the story arc. Our audience base has genuinely changed the problem, product, solution framework of advertising, which we all grew up on, Nick. I'm sure you grew up on that as well, into I need to just see a color. I need to hear a sound. I need to have my pleasure paid back to me as a cue that a customer service representative delivers for that brand constantly. These are things that are assets that make beautiful brand building, and they are full platforms on communities and among communities like TikTok. So what we tell people is don't get locked in, unlearn what it is that you've had to learn about classic marketing. The story arc is not necessarily the same framework that will play with the next generations. People are learning in faster speeds. People are engaging with different assets and elements. So it's not about the ads. It's about unlearning marketing and learning how to speak in this new, like, user-generated and multi-hyphenate and multicultural way that has been TikTok, because the assets of everybody's brands can actually be almost more powerful.
So another thing that marks a shift with TikTok, it's known for scrappy, real content. And legacy brands come from a place of high production values. And I think sometimes there's a struggle between adapting to something scrappier and not looking like they're trying too hard.
So let me bridge the last question with this one, because let's take an example like Chipotle. Okay, anything in food has to be perfect tabletop shoot, gorgeous, beautiful. Like, does it ever look like that? To be determined, but you're seeing appetite appeal. You're seeing like beautiful, perfect, high quality, high production. Chipotle came in and they decided to speak the language of the platform and just show people how the food is prepared in their stores authentically. Like, no high production, no tabletop, just what is actually happening in the stores. And how they made their rice was one of the highest viewed videos on TikTok, because what people want is the story behind the story. We went from this kind of high production, high gloss need state to this much more authentic, take me as I am, because that realness actually transcends perception, and it takes you into trust. And so when we start to see brands get into breaking down this kind of authentic area of high production to real production, I wouldn't say low quality, because a lot of people will go on a poll, high quality to low quality. It'll go high quality to real and authentic production. Then people start to feel like this is something I can connect with, and this resonates with my day to day. You've also seen businesses, and I'll stay in the food arena, like McDonald's, who came back out with their snack wrap, which who knew the community was demanding it, but they got into the comments. They saw that this was an important conversation that was happening, and they came back in and pleased their audiences in a real and authentic way. So that's a way to think about it, is, there is the opportunity to be the authentic marketers that you are by showing the realness of your products, your services, your food, and showing up in a way that is more meaningful and trust oriented to the TikTok community, by leaning into both what's happening in your stores, what's happening in the real world, and what's happening in the comment section.
Food is a great example, because I think it really highlights, what you said about kind of the history of how we've marketed food, with the carefully manicured, all the stories, the marbles in the bowl of cereal so that everything sits up high, and
Right.
all the things that you do. And it's a bit of an authenticity gap. Whereas the kind of behind the scenes access to even something as simple as the rice can connect with customers at a time when that's getting harder than ever.
And I think that's what brand building is about, right? It's about the story behind the story. It's about letting people connect with the brand, the product, the service really authentically. So we even see it all the way through. I'll take you to an example of sports and the Olympics that almost landed on TikTok. Like the broadcast was happening on broadcast television, but the stories of the athletes, the communities, the hometowns that were cheering for their athletes, all of that behavior, watching them dance, watching them jump on cardboard beds, watching them steal chocolate chip muffins, that entire authentic engagement was happening on TikTok. It wasn't happening on the broadcast. And so as a result of that, people connected more closely into Olympics, Team USA, IOC, and the brands that were behind them. So it becomes it's a deeper conversation for people to have, much like podcasting, right? This is not a 30-second, 3-minute conversation. It is a deeper, richer ability to connect in ways that you're offering your audience that connection point that hasn't happened before.
So I mentioned my academic background a bit. So Venn diagram alert.
Okay.
So,
I'm ready for it. Here we go.
TikTok's increasingly a driver of direct sales. So you talked a bit about this with the Olympics example, but what's the balance between creativity, entertainment, and conversion? Those are my 3 circles. What's the overlap look like?
Well, for years, I mean, we started in a place of community commerce. And the easiest Venn diagram for you, Nick, is content into commerce. These two things have predominantly been separate until TikTok. And now they're the same thing. Now I'm going to add a third element that is unique to our platform and has been surging very quickly, which is search. Because now what we're starting to see is that the content into commerce is actually originating at a search point, that we've seen search-driven shopping take off, such that like 84% of TikTok searches are exploring or evaluative of content. 1 in every 4 searches within the first 30 seconds, 1 in every 4 opening of the app within the first 30 seconds is a search. So people are actively looking for information on the platform, and they're looking for that content connection that allows them to then have that commerce exchange that fulfills the overall need state. We also see a lot of people in the world of things I didn't know I needed. And so all of a sudden, TikTok has now become an incredible discovery engine. And, I'm a big Amazon shopper. My husband yells at me at how many boxes show up at my door. He's like, enough already. We are not a recycling center. But it's because there were a lot of things I didn't know I needed. And when you have over half of your audiences saying that they discovered something on the platform because of the content that was being served through the algorithm, because the algorithm is based off of content, it's not based off of social. That discovery engine, fueled and coupled with the search behavior that everybody's naturally doing outside of normal search channels, has turned into these really satisfying commerce initiatives. And brands have never had a better opportunity, but more importantly, they are leaned in. They are all over it because they've seen products that are 100 years old take off on the shelves. They've seen products that have zero marketing behind them go viral. And so it's just been a really fun territory to explore, especially in the luxury, beauty, even automotive space. It's been taking off quite a bit. And so that's where I'd say the Venn diagram of content and commerce has always been there for TikTok, but now we're adding that third one of search.
Interesting.
It's fascinating. And so if you haven't searched for something on TikTok, try it. And then if it teaches you something or you discover a new product, let me know.
Well, that's such a powerful discovery of the role that discovery plays in human need. We saw that with search. We saw it with search itself, not search on TikTok, but just simple Google search with YouTube, with TikTok, and with AI as well. It's right. The factoring into that big need.
Yeah, I think it's evolved from being about searching for information to searching for perspective, searching for efficacy of product, and people have really been coming to explore this human point of view behind it, and not just necessarily information. So that's where we're seeing some of these behavioral shifts, and we're just honored that everybody's giving us that kind of time and usage occasion, and we didn't know it would happen, but we're sprinting to just make sure we're serving our customers in the best way possible, because we're just seeing all of this groundswell of behavior.
On Brand will be right back after this.
Subtle results, still you, but with fewer lines. Botox Cosmetic, out of botulinum toxin A, is a prescription medicine used to temporarily make moderate to severe frown lines, crow's feet, and forehead lines look better in adults.
Effects of Botox Cosmetic may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness may be a sign of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Don't receive Botox Cosmetic if you have a skin infection. Side effects may include allergic reactions, injection site pain, headache, eyebrow and eyelid drooping, and eyelid swelling. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Tell your doctor about medical history, muscle or nerve conditions including ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects. For full safety information, visit BotoxCosmetic.com or call 877-351-0300.
See for yourself at BotoxCosmetic.com.
Now, back to the show. So, one of the gold standards in brand building over time is loyalty. And some think, that TikTok thrives only on quick hits of attention. Are those two things at odd with one another, brand loyalty and the short form model?
I am so glad you asked that question. And I'm going to tell you why from a personal point of view. I am a woman in a Gen X, don't tell anyone, okay, Nick? In a Gen X world who's had her products and rituals set for years. And now I am buying products I have never considered and didn't know I needed for the first time after one content creator who felt or looked like me or had my skin or had the same hair issues. I am now making purchases off of people and products I have discovered, which in traditional marketing terms is impossible to do. It's impossible to change behavior and rituals, right? We've all been trained that that is an impossible thing, and it costs way too much money to acquire a net new customer who's set, until TikTok. Now, the purchases that people are making, the introductions of net new brands, all of this is possible, and it is happening. And so incrementality is a word that we are not only tasked with, but we talk about quite a bit, because we have been bringing net new audiences to brands of all ages, because it's not necessarily about what the product and the service can do. It's how is the information and the efficacy of it served to me? Can I change behavior? And is that behavior change possible through a connection with a creator? And I'm literally telling you, half of the products in the boxes that are coming in through my door are net new products I never, ever knew I tried. One of them, for example, was the number 7 product, because it was for women of a certain age. And I see number 7, it's in a Dwayne Reed here down the road from me in New York City. This is not something that I normally would have ever considered. Now, it is something that is carried with me on trips in different places in my rituals and routines, because it serves a need state that I never knew I had. So brands really need to think about how much more we need to bust paradigms of who we can connect with and how many people can become customers because of content and creator discovery.
That's such an important point, because I think it's easy to get hung up on the short form, that it's just this limited engagement. But what you just described is a personal connection, as you noted, that is not possible with other forms of media. So yes, shorter, there's a lot of noise out there, but there's also the potential for some big connection as well.
I think shorter is a benefit. We take a lot of complex distilled information on the platform. Our user base does, and they distill it down into what is absolutely critically needed and what is action oriented. So a lot of it is not just educational. It is a lot of kind of bias for action. I see this, I behave this way as a result, and that happens much at a much faster clip now. So short form, is a very heavily penetrated behavior in the Asian markets. And that's why we've seen so much success with TikTok in Southeast Asia and Indonesian markets, where it is the only platform where you go to gather information, make product purchases, and connect through commerce. Here, it's in the Western world, it's been much more pervasive, and we're very happy to pioneer that. But we are only just getting started. It is not going away. It is going to be something that continues to be a distillation and a reduction behavior of complex information that allows people to take action faster and make decisions and connections faster. So I see it as a huge benefit for brands, and I can't wait to continue to see how everybody adopts short form. It has been on the rise. It will continue to. And some of the other areas that are going to continue to rise are things like live as well. Obviously, we covered search, but these are new digital media behaviors for Western markets, but they're very well established in the Eastern, and they're helping people connect better with marketers and businesses.
So as we talk about short form, marketing leaders in particular struggle with how we can take these short form pieces and build a sustained strategy. Is there a rule of thumb for what big picture strategy looks like with short form content?
Well, what I would tell you is, at the end of the day, brands are trying to assimilate with people and culture. So whatever vehicle is the fastest and strongest bond to assimilate with people and culture, that will be the win. Whether it's short form, mid form, long form, it doesn't necessarily matter, as long as it is episodic, that it is brand building, and that there is an association of brand love. We've seen a number of different marketers have campaigns that are running over and over and over again on the TikTok platform, because they understand that at the end of the day, storytelling is also episodic. So we've seen businesses like The Gap, who I love, even American Eagle, the retail businesses, where they have continuity and episodic is in things that they've naturally, culturally been rooted in: music, dance. Those are very endemic to the original form of the TikTok platform, right? So you've seen Gap come on in an organic way with their music and their dance culture, and they had incredible viral videos, all the way through to bringing it into a paid and a marketing way, where they saw a creator. There was a beautiful creator, really popular on the platform. She had been doing a review of hoodies, and Gap, famous for all of their fashion and their hoodies, they weren't actually in the conversation. Her name is Julia. Julia did not put Gap in the conversation. So they easily could have done a few things. One, they could have responded with comments. They could have sent her a hoodie and been like, "Here, consider us." But what they actually did was they engaged her in a collaboration model and said, "If you could build the perfect one, what would you do? And let's put it out there." And so brands that are able to use the platform episodically for what it's good at, show up consistently, then they have an entrance into the community. They're not just in a conversation of sale. And so that, I think, is a benefit to short form, mid form, long form. It doesn't necessarily matter, as long as the consistency and I would say the assimilation of the community is present.
So some marketers are cautious still about TikTok, concerns about data, content moderation, brand safety. What do you say to CMOs who still aren't sure about putting their brand there?
Well, I'll tell you, I haven't had a conversation like that in a very long time, Nick. And I said this in our most recent trip to Cannes as well. I have not had to have the tough conversations about safety, security for quite some time. And here's why. Our marketing partners, CMOs, CEOs, they know that safety and security are paramount. They're also fully aware that we have spent years without even being asked to keep our platform free from any kind of influence and any kind of manipulation. And they see it as a direct result of how their advertising is coming to life on the platform. We have so many third-party partners and relationships in place to make sure that we're validating, who we are and how their marketing campaigns are showing up. And I have to tell you, it has not been a very large concern because of the work that we put in for the first 5 years of the business. So, one, haven't had that conversation in a long time. Two, haven't had any incidents in a long time that would cause any of that concern, because once we did put the infrastructure in, it has been serving all of us well and worldwide for a very long time. So we're feeling really good and really confident. I'd say the better part of the conversations that we have are not concerns around safety, security, data. They're actually more around, how can I scale my search business? How can I scale my commerce business? How can I continue to have TikTok be my growth engine? Because everything else just feels like advertising, but this feels like growth. And so that's really where the conversations tend to lie.
So is there any concern around uncertainty around TikTok and its future and brands building there? So,
short answer is that the confidence that we have and our marketing partners have in our platform is real. It's why we continue to innovate in all of our products and all of the product suites, everything from our AR product suite to driving content and creativity into allowing people to more automate their campaign programming so that they can get on the platform faster and in higher volume. So the confidence that we have is that we're not going anywhere and that we are going to continue to innovate. The confidence that our marketing partners have is that they know that it's probably the best time they could ever be on the platform, with the number of users increasing, with the amount of time spent increasing, and the new digital media behaviors of search. What they're actually interested in is not the uncertainty of the platform. They're interested in, how can we have exclusivity in some of the innovation that you're delivering on the platform? How can we be part of where you're taking this new kind of horizons in live in search? They want to be part of it all, especially in the commerce world, because they know that we are confident and that we're not going anywhere. So they're not taking a back seat to uncertainty. They're taking it as competitive advantage as to how they can be first mover.
So you've led teams at agencies, at Spotify, and now TikTok. So you've seen a lot of brand building and done a lot of brand building. Is there one lesson that you think about that's always in the background of your work when it comes to building standout brands today?
That's a great question. And thanks for making me feel old for a second.
Hey, I remember the Gap ads with the dancing too, so I'm here for it.
The holiday and the scarf, and I love that they're keeping to their roots and just securing the latest campaign that has just taken off. They are true to who they are, and so are we. And I think as brand marketers and brand building, the one lesson that I don't have one, but if I have to give you one, Nick, it is that the industry that we are in is going through shifts of like paramount shifts. Stay learning. Okay, whatever we think we know and whatever fixed behaviors we have, they won't survive the next generations. This is the most creative set of generations that have ever been born. These are the most highly technical generations that have ever been born. They are speech and search oriented. And so if we don't adapt, and if we don't, Whitney Houston, if we don't believe that the children are our future, we're going to suffer the way of very antiquated legacy models. And the rise of technology and the rise of the types of businesses that are coming up, if we're not staying learning, what they're looking for the most part is, how can I apply these tools? How can I apply this technology? Teach me, help. I don't have the time to learn. I don't have the staff that has the qualifications. You're a tech company. They don't want us to be an agency. They don't want us to be a creative production company. They want us to be a technology partner that accelerates. So stay learning. This is a very high innovation time that we're living in, and count on partners like TikTok to be that tech partner, because we're all under investment of the technology, and nothing is fixed.
Well, your answer makes me smile. Now it's my turn to ask you, Khartoon, for a brand that has made you smile recently.
I'm not going to lie. I'm going to stay with Gap. I think it has been genius from working with the creator community exceptionally well and bringing Julia as a collaborator into the conversation, from staying true to who they are with equity that is stayed and knowing, to being able to survive fashion and retail trends, to leaning into the TikTok platform in a very authentic, highly endemic way of culture, which doesn't take a day off on the platform, community, which you will find no matter what kind of shape or body you have, into creativity, which is one of the things that we're best at, and bringing that to life by way that only the authentic Gap brand can do. If you were to drop the logo, I think people would still know it was Gap. So for me, I'm loving what they're up to. I applaud the content and the creativity and the bravery. And that's the one that's made me smile the most recently. I'll send you my latest TikTok. You'll love it.
Awesome. Can't wait. Well, where can we send folks to learn more about who you are and what you do?
Well, I'd say please always go to TikTok and TikTok for Business to learn more. I am just a humble servant of our community and our user population. You can, of course, certainly find me on LinkedIn, but truly, we are a we organization, and so just come and learn more about what it is that we are doing. The future is bright. We're so excited for our innovation. We're not going anywhere, Nick. And TikTok for Business is where you can find us.
Awesome. Well, we will link up to that in our show notes, which folks can find at onbrandpodcast.com. Khartoon Weiss, thanks for being on brand with us.
Thank you, Nick.
On Brand is part of the Marketing Podcast Network. If you like what you're hearing, if we've made you smile, you can always listen free on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or whatever your favorite platform may be. And please take a moment and rate and review the podcast to help others find the show. Until next week, I'm Nick Westergaard, and I'll see you on the internet.
You may know you're listening to this show along the Marketing Podcast Network, but did you know there are other great shows on MPN to help your business? Hennika Watkins-Porter hosts The Entrepreneurial You, empowering entrepreneurs with insights on leadership, business, and success. Hennika, tell listeners what to expect from your show.
So we provide innovative business strategies and practical solutions to common entrepreneurial challenges.
And where can people subscribe?
Find us at hennikawatkisporter.com, as well as the Marketing Podcast Network at marketingpodcasts.net, or search for it wherever you get your podcasts.
You heard her. Go subscribe. This podcast is heard along the Marketing Podcast Network. For more great marketing podcasts, visit marketingpodcasts.net.